Buongiorno beaches. It's been a really long week. I'm in the process of moving. As you can see, I'm in a different location. But today is also Ash Wednesday. And in honor of that, we're going to be watching the movie The Runner Stumbles. We're going to be doing something a little bit different on this channel. Instead of doing my makeup, I'm going to be taking my makeup off. Released in 1979, this movie stars Dick Van Dyke, Kathleen Quinlan, and Maureen Stapleton. We open with Beau Bridges stumbling down a street. He walks to the sheriff's and the bailiff brings him to a cell where Dick Van Dyke is waiting. The bailiff starts talking to Beau Bridges about a murder case that Dick Van Dyke is involved in, and Dick Van Dyke has this look on his face like,
"Don't talk about me like I'm not here."
Like, shut up and drink your orange juice, Shelby. Oh, hello, Herp Derp. So this is basically what's going on. DVD is accused of murdering a nun. Beau Bridges is his lawyer there to defend him. This movie is told through various flashbacks and then flash forwards. It also has very odd cutaways, but I'm going to try to make this as non-confusing as I possibly can. The nun is Sister Rita. She's played by Kathleen Quinlan, who is also in Apollo 13. She is coming to the town of Salona and is met by Dick Van Dyke. Sister Rita is very puppy-like and everything seems very new to her. She's very excited about everything.
All those trees. It's almost a wilderness.
Welcome, sister.
He did it. I mean, look at him. Dick Van Dyke has the odd ability to either be a very cute boy next door or a very cute grandfatherly figure. However, this was the stage in his life where no matter what he did, he just straight up looked like a serial killer. On the way home, DVD, now known as Father Rivard, is giving Sister Rita the tea on everyone in town. They arrive at the church, which is right next to the convent where the nuns stay. They go to the convent to meet the other two nuns, and Father Rivard warns her about them.
Sister, I don't know if they told you, but the nuns, well, they're a good deal older than you are.
I guess she doesn't have to worry about all of them getting on the same cycle. And they are indeed a cranky duo.
You'd better get those out of here.
The flowers, sister. Now she'll probably sneeze all night long.
It's mentioned that they're both sick and aren't really able to perform their duties. Duties. The two of them have lunch together, and during lunch, Father Rivard mentions that he's not used to people having secular conversations with him. Sister Rita is put in charge of teaching the children, and the town is kind of appalled by her pedagogy. Did you like that word? She has the kids out there singing, you know, like Kidz Bop Volume Dust Bowl. Oh wait, I forgot to tell you when this takes place. This takes place in 1911, which is a few decades before the Dust Bowl. So don't at me. His clerical collar looks kind of like an umpire uniform. My priests just wear black button-down shirts with like a removable white collar. And the shirt looks even better on the floor. I'm going to hell. I was already going, but there's no turning back now. So we find out the other nuns inflict corporal punishment when the children answer questions wrong. We also find out via the blackboard that these children are obsessed with Calvin Coolidge. Sister Rita continues to acclimate herself in the parish. Father Rivard takes Sister Rita and Mrs. Shendig, played by Maureen Stapleton, to the grocery store to pick up groceries and flowers for the church. Maureen Stapleton, by the way, actually played Dick Van Dyke's mother in the cinematic version of Bye Bye Birdie. It's there that Sister Rita realizes that Mrs. Shendig doesn't know how to read by the way that she's shopping for groceries.
Mrs. Shandy, Ernest said she'd like us to pick up some tomato soup for her, too.
Better get in there and help her. I generally have to.
She's like, yeah, sounds like tomato. Mrs. Shendig is actually kind of like a housekeeper, and I believe she lives in the rectory with Father Rivard. On the way home, they visit a parish member named Matt and his daughter. My face is so dry. Oh, I bought one of these. No, not one of those. I'm not sure if it's sucking out my blackheads or if it's removing my natural Italian juices that are marinating on my face. They promise to take care of Matt's daughter after he passes away, and Father Rivard gives him a blessing with very little conviction, and I'm confused if he even knows how to do it.
You take care of yourself, man. God bless you.
Father Rivard takes Sister Rita. I don't feel like calling them that the whole time. I'm so lazy. I can't just say words. Father Rivard takes Sister Rita to his spot. And let me tell you something. When a man takes you to his spot, he tells her Mrs. Shendig's backstory. Apparently, she was married and her husband just up and left one day, and the men in town abused her in some way. So she ran away and she found herself in Salona, and she saw that they were looking for a housekeeper for the church, and that's how she became a Catholic. Mrs. Shendig tells Father Rivard that Sister Rita has some really wild bohemian ideas, like teaching people to read and not abusing children. He tells Mrs. Shendig that he'll talk to Sister Rita over dinner, and you can tell that Mrs. Shendig is starting to become jealous. I think she saw herself as the role of a platonic wife for Father Rivard. We get another odd cutaway where the Monsignor tells us that Sister Rita was hired to bring an art program to the school, which was something they hadn't had before. And they do this by doing a close-up of the art the children created, which includes the red sweater girl from Schindler's List and a pilgrim meeting up with an Italian mobster from New Jersey. They love their tracksuits. The Monsignor, by the way, is played by Ray Bolger, who was the Scarecrow in probably the most famous movie of all time. The voiceover reveals that Monsignor Scarecrow is actually at the trial testifying against Father Rivard, and the courtroom is packed. They didn't have TV back then, so this is like their form of entertainment. Monsignor Scarecrow is explaining how Sister Rita came to live in the rectory with Father Rivard and not in the convent with the other nuns. So you remember the two bitchy nuns from the beginning? They came down with something contagious. Sister Rita begs Father Rivard to ask Monsignor Scarecrow if she can please live at the rectory with him because she doesn't want to catch bitch from the other two nuns. They go for a scenic walk and talk about the repercussions that would arise if they lived together should Monsignor Scarecrow approve. He confides in her that he was once in love.
When I was a young man, I fell terribly and instantly in love with a merchant's daughter who wore blonde sausage curls. No nice girls in our town had ever dared wear sausage curls before.
I can see why. Sounds pretty phallic. Both aware that the streets will talk, and that they do. A sex worker comes up to Father Rivard and warns him about being seen with Sister Rita.
Don't walk around town with her.
Sister Rita?
They say awful things about you and her father.
As well as a little schoolgirl, Louise.
How much do you think about this?
What?
Sister and me.
Never.
And the two bitchy nuns.
And you are a human being with a man's feelings, just as I have, and have always had a woman's feelings. We have our vows, but we remain fallible.
The letter finally comes from Monsignor Scarecrow, and he approves of them living together. Except that's a lie. That's not what the letter said. Father Rivard made that up, and he didn't tell Sister Rita. We fast forward to the little girl Louise testifying at the trial, and she's like insinuating something was going on between Father Rivard and Sister Rita. On cross-examination, she eventually admits that she is only saying this because she has a bone to pick with Father Rivard. During confession, she told him that she had sexual thoughts about him, and he gave her a really steep penance. I once confessed all of my sexual sins to a priest during confession. He told me that it was only natural because I'm just a human, and I should thank God for that. And maybe I should get a hobby. Clearly I have a hobby. That's how I got in the confessional. So we go back in time, and Monsignor Scarecrow shows up out of the blue because he was really put off by Father Rivard's request. And Father Rivard finally admits to Sister Rita that her living there wasn't approved.
I'd rather he'd not know Sister lives in the rectory.
Doesn't he know already? You mean you want me to lie?
No, not that.
Monsignor Scarecrow wants to shut down the school where Sister Rita teaches because he thinks that she'll spread whatever the two bitchy nuns have. Sister Rita lets it slip that she hasn't come in contact with the two nuns, so she couldn't possibly spread it. Monsignor Scarecrow wants to know why she hasn't been exposed if she's living in the house with the nuns, and he asks her where has she been living.
Well, there is no danger. I'm not exposed to them.
You're not?
Sister doesn't sleep in the same room, Monsignor.
Where do you sleep, Sister?
Sugar, Monsignor. I see them for prayers, but we are careful.
Good.
I go to Mass in the church. They take the sacraments.
But where do you sleep, Sister?
You mean you want me to lie?
No, not that.
No, not that.
I sleep in the convent, of course.
Well, then, we have no problem. Do we, Sister?
That Catholic guilt will get you.
Oh, God, what have I...
That was my grandmother's bowl. And what do you do when you're a Catholic and you feel guilty? You go to church and you ask God to forgive you for making premarital eye contact with someone.
Forgive me. Forgive me.
Why is he so destructive? Father Rivard unilaterally decides that since they lied, they need to make up for it by just not speaking to each other anymore. Louise notices Rivard giving Rita the cold shoulder.
Is Father mad at you, sister?
No, Louise.
Why should he be mad? He didn't stop to talk to Sister. So what? Oh, she's a bitch.
James! Now, we've talked about this before. I don't want to hear any more language from you. I won't stand for it. Is that clear?
She is one. I love you, sister.
So I'm basically this kid. I liberally use the word bitch, but I have so much love in my heart. This little boy, by the way, James, is played by Billy Jane, who at the time was going by Billy J. Jacoby. He was in the movie Just One of the Guys. I don't know if you remember that. Sister Rita tries talking to Father Rivard again.
Nice to see you, Mrs. Delaney.
Beautiful, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, isn't it wonderful how well James did his first time?
Yes, he did a very good job.
It's been a month since Monsignor visited. Can we talk?
I think not. Mrs. Delaney.
Hi.
How many Mrs. Delaney's are there? Matt, by the way, ends up passing away. Father Rivard goes to his house to administer last rites, and Sister Rita is already there comforting Matt's daughter. Father Rivard tells Matt's daughter not to cry and just basically to keep the stiff upper lip, whereas Sister Rita tells her that expressing feelings is normal and natural.
Jesus wept.
This isn't the time or the place for such discussion.
Yeah, how dare you talk about Jesus, you Catholic nun? On the way home, Sister Rita tries to talk to him about the way they feel about each other, and she does it in a very human way, but he just wants none of it. Later on, Sister Rita shares her pick-me-girl thoughts with Mrs. Shindig and Father Rivard.
I mean, God gave us a brain after all. I think he expects us to use it.
You shouldn't talk to me like that in front of Father.
The conversation takes a really bizarre turn when Mrs. Shindig takes offense to what Sister Rita is saying for no reason.
There was just one thing thing that was human about you. I don't believe you have the same blood in your veins as I do. Do you? Do you bleed when you're cut? There's nothing human about you.
Beau Bridges tells him that he found a letter that expressed his love for her that he never mailed, and then a Pied Piper flute signifies thunder. And here's Dick Van Dyke displaying his ability to look like a serial killer. He really needs like a Jodi Arias make-under. So back in time, a fire breaks out at the convent, and Father Rivard and Sister Rita run in to save the two bitchy nuns.
Jump, sister, jump! Jump!
Nun habits are fire hazards. That's what stopped me from being a nun. She miraculously has no injuries despite being on fire for over a minute. He confesses how he really feels for her, and men always do this.
At night. Every night. I wonder how you're feeling. What you think.
Men wait until you are burnt like a campfire marshmallow to tell you, yeah, I kind of sort of liked you.
Don't talk about God.
You still have God.
I don't have God.
No,
I don't.
It's not
I
true.
don't. I've lost him. Can't you understand? I've lost him. I have lost him.
I don't think God is at the back of her throat. And then he chokes her out. I used to date this guy. I called him the Lancaster Strangler because he was from Lancaster, and when he kissed me, he choked me. I thought it was exciting though. I was like, is he gonna murder me? She tells him she loves him, and Mrs. Shendig hears it. There's a close-up of Mrs. Shendig that pulls back and reveals she's now testifying at the trial. She gives a really incriminating testimony that kind of implies that she was the one who killed Sister Rita. I'm guessing Father Rivard was acquitted for her murder because we see him in a cemetery visiting her grave. And that's it. That's the end. This movie was based on the real-life murder of Sister Mary Mezek in 1907. A priest named Father Andrew was accused of murdering her, but they couldn't find her body. They didn't find it until several years later when her body was found underneath the church. Father Andrew was never put on trial for it because he had an airtight alibi, and he also spent many years after looking for her body. He was having an affair with her and was allegedly the father of her unborn child. The housekeeper, Stanislawa, admitted that she bludgeoned her to death and stood trial and was given a life sentence. There were reports that she called nuns whores and was very jealous of them. That's a case Brittany Vaughn should do. Where are you, girl? I'm putting in a request. This was the last movie directed and produced by Stanley Kramer before he passed away. It did not do well at the box office. It had a small revival in 2012 in an off-Broadway play, but has largely been forgotten. There were none. I mean, I guess this tea set was nice. That's it. This is it. This is the final look. So I hope you have a wonderful Lent. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single view. If you like this video, please like it. But if you love it, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much. Bye.